Welcome back to Restoring Republic 2. Where we left off last time, we were listening to the alleged JFK Jr. discuss some things about the current affairs and what's going on with election stuff. He seemed to indicate things are not going to be over right away. He's obviously close and talking to intel and people really inside. Let's continue on. Where I was saying he was talking about corn. That's in regard to 17 drops or intel that was given in the past. Nobody really understood what that meant, and quite often we are left to our own wits to decide or figure out what's going on, because sometimes he'll address some of those things and those funny words that they drop, and then it fills in the blanks for me. So I thought maybe you might enjoy it too. And hey guys, I apologize because I never intended to go down the route of trying to explain 17 stuff to everybody in my videos. It just kind of worked out that way. We're on this roll right now, so we're just going to finish up and listen to JFK Jr. shortly. Let's look at some of these clips here that explain some of the first drops that talk about corn. In mid-2019, this first one asks, was the corn ripe for harvesting? Quite often there's a link or something to reference what they're talking about or try to give you some clues. Here you see a couple references to James Comey, and they intentionally misspelled his name to Corny. Quite often there are misspellings, and even Trump does this on purpose in some of his tweets. Below it is some stuff referencing the Biden families and things that came out about Hunter. And then when did we hear about it? The news and the scandal about Hunter Biden didn't break until a year later in October. Maybe it was late September. So it was really typical for them to put out information or make a drop and then for it to happen later on. And that's perhaps why people believe that Looking Glass was involved, because not only did 17 mention that in other drops, but they constantly put out information and intel that would happen later on. Like, how do you really explain that? Enter Senator Chuck Grassley. They make reference to him, and then he chimes in and then talks about a harvest. But who are we talking about here, and what exactly are we referencing? So let's let JFK Jr. or Juan O'Savin spell it out for us.
And the corn is all those people that have been working diligently, relentlessly with their little secret handshake groups, promoting each other into positions of authority so that they could turn around and control us and do it almost invisibly, where you don't even realize behind the scenes they got a little network going. They're calling each other, coordinating their actions, and you don't even realize it. Their little networks, their marriages, their relationships, their fuck buddies who are working all this behind the scenes to control you. And we're going to go root them out, get them out of the system so America can get back to doing what it does naturally, normally, and be about business, be about building, be about growth and working together. We're not doing it to lord over other countries, over our neighbors. We're doing it to get control of our own house first and then go help the world, not to be their rulers, but to be their brother. It's a way of manipulating us that most people don't understand. They think that they're looking at the obvious things close in. They don't see these remote things that amount to sneaky little ways of managing us, controlling us, reining us in. It's Gulliver. We're being tied down by 1,000 little straps. All we got to do is get up on our side and stand up and pull all the stuff off. We're big enough to overcome all of this, but we have to actually decide to do it, to wake up, get free before they have too many restraints on us where we really are truly tied down. You know, I've used this term before with your audience, this Tholian web, a Star Trek term where once the web is complete, you can never get free. So you have to blast out of it before the last moment. President Trump is that person that's blasting us out of it before the last moment to free us from this Tholian web. And that's what has to be done. And we're going to do it. We're going to get free. And I think that America's perspective is going to change as these revelations come out. And I think people are going to be very pissed. A significant portion of the existing Republican Party is going to lose power because of how they have functioned, how they have cooperated and interacted with entities that were not working in the best interests of the American people, but were working in the best interests of these globalists. Likewise, the Democratic Party is going to suffer, but I think they're going to suffer much, much more. I don't think that the Democratic Party, as we know and understand it, exists after the 2022 election. I could be wrong. I'm just giving you my opinion.
There you have it, friends. And the part that sticks out to me the most is the fact that he said, we need to, as a people, decide, wake up, and get free before they have too many restraints and restrictions on us. And we are at a precipice right now. Any governor trying to put anything mandatory on you in the way of health care, it's wrong and it's illegal and it's fraudulent. We don't have to accept that. Start seeing it for the play and the absolute theater that it is. He's not the only one talking like this. It's up to the people. So yeah, there's a certain amount of damage control they can do in Washington, and that's why people have to wake up to that, and they have to step in, and they have to say no, and they have to make phone calls, and you got to start holding your legislators accountable, and you have to write letters, and you have to show up sometimes when they're making policy. Hopefully, everyone can do their part, and thank you for listening, and hopefully I've got something for you tomorrow. We'll continue on with looking glass stuff and apply it to our lives in regard to shifting our consciousness.